Well, it's official. Dandadan is actually getting an anime adaptation. If you guys remember, about 5 months ago, we talked about this, where we heard a rumor that Dandadan would be getting, or could possibly be getting, an anime adaptation. Well, 5 months later, it has actually been confirmed. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Otaku Experience. My name is Israel King. If you like what you see here, you can always subscribe to my main YouTube channel, Kingtanic. All right, so this comes to us from Anime Corner, and you know, all of the anime trades were talking about this, but the one I'm choosing to focus on is Anime Corner, where they actually talk about how this is a confirmed adaptation and not just a rumored one that we heard a few months ago. So they say Yukinobu Tatsu's Dandadan manga is getting an anime adaptation by Science Saru with Fuga Yamashiro as the director. Hiroshi Seko will be writing the script and doing the series composition. The adaptation will premiere in 2024. And then they have a little trailer here as well. Why did I say it like that? Well, and it looks really good. As someone who's like, I'm not fully caught up on the Dandadan manga, but I've read some of it. As someone who's like a fan of the manga, this looks so right to me. This just the lighting, the way that the characters are running, and the way that the animation is all together. This just looks like it's right what those of us who at least know the manga are kind of hoping for. It seems like they kind of have at least nailed the aesthetic. Now, can we have bad anime adaptation? Sure, that has happened before, where you see with like Promised Neverland Season 2. Or no, is it Promised Neverland? What am I thinking of? Yeah, I am thinking of Promised Neverland. I always get Promised Neverland and Seven Deadly Sins mixed up. But Promised Neverland Season 2, you know, that was still adapted from the source material, but it was not the greatest adaptation. That can still happen in that translation. So it'll be interesting to see if this is going to be a really good adaptation. I really enjoyed the manga ever since we talked about it before. I thought it was interesting, so I looked into it and I read some of the chapters, and it's really, really fun. I really love the art style. The characters are really fun. Just the situations are insane. It's also funny. Really, my only main criticism with the manga is that they have this propensity for the characters to lose their clothes quite a bit. I mean, it's not like the most often thing ever, but it happens more often than maybe you'd think going into it. And I know that's just like a quirk that a lot of... yeah, it's just a quirk, guys. No, but it's just a quirk that anime and manga have, is a lot of that more sexual humor. And I guess just because it's foreign to us over here, maybe I just view it differently. But, you know, that's just probably my biggest thing. But it's never been big enough to distract me from it. It's never been the object of, or like a point of center. Like, it's never been like a main thing. It's always just been like okay, and for comedic effect, the dude loses his clothes for a second. You know, it's stuff like that. But, you know, it's just one of those little nitpicky things. But it'll be interesting to see how they go about it here. And then they go into it here, and they also have a key visual for us to look at. If you've read the manga, I zoomed out a bit so you can see the poster. If you've read the manga, obviously you know who this ghost is, and you know who this alien is. It's a really, really fun manga. It's really, really interesting. Yeah, if you guys want to read it, I recommend you go check it out. But if you want to wait for the anime adaptation, you can do that as well. Now, for those of you guys who don't know what Dandadan is actually about, here is the My Anime List page for it, and there is a synopsis here that says, after being aggressively rejected, Momo Ayase finds herself sulking when she stumbles across a boy being bullied. Saved by her rash kindness, the occult-obsessed boy attempts to speak to her about supernatural interests he believes they share. Rejecting his claims, Ayase proclaimed that she instead is a believer in ghosts, starting an argument between the two over which is real. In a bet to determine who is correct, the two decide to separately visit locations associated with the occult and the supernatural, Ayase visiting the former and the boy visiting the latter. When the two reach their respective places, it turns out that neither was wrong and that both the occult and ghosts do exist. This marks the beginning of Ayase and the boy's adventure as they attempt to fix the surreal, supernatural, and occult elements around them to return to a normal life. It's interesting that they don't name the boy in the synopsis. If you guys know, what's going on in the manga, at least in like the first couple chapters, at least, you find out what's going on with the name thing. But I find that funny there. So there's the synopsis. I thought the synopsis sounded interesting, and the manga is exactly that. It's very funny. The actual, like, the artwork, a lot of times, like, very creepy artwork. Like, if the tone in the manga were different, I could see it being like a pretty decent, like, a horror manga. But they choose to have more horrific imagery while also keeping a much lighter tone, which I feel is really interesting, and I want to see how the anime is going to balance that. Now, for us who are looking into the anime, of course, who are fans of the manga, we want to know, who's doing this. So, of course, it's Science Saru, as we went over earlier. And Science Saru, if you don't know, this is some of the stuff that they've done. I have it sorted by members. This is basically their most watched stuff. I can do it by score, and this is their most well-received stuff. But as you can see, less people watch this stuff. So, and for the sake of you guys knowing who they are, I'd much rather show you the ones that people watch the most. But if you want to see who or what their highest score stuff are, obviously you have Time Machine Blues, you have Eizouken, Inuo, those types of things. But in terms of their member stuff, what they're most famous for is Devilman Crybaby, as well as Eizouken. I didn't get to finish Eizouken. I thought it was really interesting. I don't know why I never finished it, but I got like 4 episodes in, and then I just stopped watching it with like no real desire to go back. But I really liked it. I don't know what happened there. If you don't know what Eizouken is a show about basically just the anime process. It's about a character who wants to be in the anime industry as an animator, and they just talk about how it's made, and you can just tell there's so much love and passion behind it. But what they're most famous for, obviously, is Devilman Crybaby. I have never seen Devilman Crybaby, which I believe, is this the one that is about to get a reboot coming out? Is this the one that's coming out this year? Or am I thinking of something else entirely? I don't remember. But there's something coming out. I think, yeah, there's something coming out on Netflix, I thought. Anyways, maybe I'm thinking of something else totally. But anyways, so Devilman Crybaby is obviously their most watched thing on Netflix. And as you can see with Devilman Crybaby, this is also R-rated. It has a lot of violence in it. And so they are they're very qualified to be able to handle these types of things, in my opinion. Like, shots like this are definitely, where is it? Shots like this one right here, these are definitely shots that you would find in something like Dandadan. So I feel like we're in good hands. They've made good things. They've made really popular things. And I think this is a really good and popular manga. So hopefully they'll be able to merge these things together. And I think that's really, really interesting and really exciting. But anyways, guys, Dandadan is officially getting an anime adaptation. All it says is it's coming out in 2024. We don't know specifically what month or what season it's coming out. Based on the way that it's being announced, it's not coming out in winter. I could see this being, honestly, like a summer anime. It really strikes me as that. But the way that this announcement is happening, it makes me think that this might be a spring release. Now, to be fair, when an anime is announced, doesn't always, affect when it's actually being released. But usually there's a trend there where they'll fully announce an anime and like start with like their first teaser, unless it's like a really big show. But for most shows, they'll do their announcement and their first teaser visual or something like that about 3 seasons in advance, maybe 2 seasons in advance. So I could see this being a spring show, and I wouldn't be surprised by that. But reading Dandadan and knowing kind of what it's about, I think it'd kind of be a mistake not to put it in the summer. But that's just me. Anyways, guys, what are your thoughts on this? Have I at least interested you in reading Dandadan, or do you not care? Or are you just going to watch the anime? Let me know what you think. All right, so because there haven't been an episode every single time that an episode should have come out this past month or so, where I've missed either one episode in a week or like last week I took off because of the holidays, and then Rob was sick on Sunday, so I didn't want to, try to, make him do business things. that I don't remember if we talked about this Naruto live action or not. But anyways, I'm sure you've heard about it. Naruto is getting a live action movie from Lionsgate, which is interesting because me and my brother were talking about this after One Piece, and the other two in the big three are Bleach and Naruto, and we talked about what we think they could do next. And I think him and I thought they would do Bleach next, but we knew that it was going to be one of the big three next as the next big thing. And it turns out it's going to be Naruto, which means that I don't think that Bleach is too far behind. I don't think that it's going to be announced, like next week or anything. But, 2 years, 3 years away, I could see us being in a world where we know that a Bleach movie is coming. But so the Naruto movie is coming out with Lionsgate, which is an interesting choice. But from what I know, Lionsgate actually got the rights years ago, and they've just held on to them and just been developing it. And now that they see the heyday that anime live actions might be in with the One Piece live action and potentially with Yu Yu Hakusho's live action coming out later this year, they're like, let's jump into this ring. Let's fully put our money behind Naruto and let's get it going. So we finally got an announcement of who is going to be writing this movie, because we can be excited for a Naruto live action movie all we want, but if it turns out it's not a good writer in the role, then maybe our excitement might go down, or maybe it can go up if it's a good writer. But anyways, here is the writer, and this came to us from Variety, which we don't read many Variety articles on here because, we mainly deal with the anime industry, and because this is a live action film in Hollywood, this is now part of the American Hollywood industry. So this is the writer of Naruto, Tasha Huo, who is, I guess, most known for Red Sonja. After developing scripts for Red Sonja, Naruto, and an animated version of Tomb Raider, Huo says she considers it a fan's dream come true to adapt beloved properties. Adapting iconic characters or IP makes the writing easier, because the passion for the writing is already there, Huo says. I'm so inspired by these characters, and already that's exciting to take part in their journey and try to tell that fun story in a way that could appeal to me as a fan. For Red Sonja, based on the popular sword and sorcery comic book character of the same name, Huo says that the character offers a unique opportunity to use the fantasy genre to explore human stories. It gives you this great vehicle for telling big themes about human nature within the spectacle, she says, promising stories of great female friendship and portrait of how women uniquely survive out in the world. Using genre and big spectacle to tell intimate human stories stems from a fandom of Ridley Scott's Gladiator, a film she says was big and fun, but also used filmmaking to explore deeper themes. That is more than you can ever do in a novel. Next up for the writer is Naruto, a feature adaptation of the iconic anime series for Lionsgate. She also executive produced the animated series Mighty Nine for Amazon, as well as serving as showrunner for the Tomb Raider animated series for Netflix and Legendary. Lara Croft doesn't just go to a new temple each week, but goes through a character-driven and emotional story, and that excited me most, she says. And then they talk about some things here. So this comes from an article where they're talking about writers to be on the lookout for, up-and-coming writers who are getting more and more popular and more work on bigger names in terms of the projects and who they're working with. And so she sounds really nice. She sounds like she's very excited to do this. She sounds super passionate. And so I was eager to see, because I know the Lara Croft Tomb Raider thing hadn't come out yet, but I was excited to see what people thought of the stuff that she had worked on. And this is what I found. So I went over to her IMDb, and Red Sonja, I don't see any score for this because it's not out yet, apparently. It says coming soon. I mean, maybe I'm misreading this. I don't really use IMDb all that much. Oh, no, this is 2008. Anyways, moving on. But anyways, the only thing that actually has a score is The Witcher Blood Origin, and the score is not that great, 4.9 out of 10. Now, granted, this is IMDb. So I went over to Rotten Tomatoes to see what's going on. And then we got this. And we got these reviews coming out where they talk about how the writing is, kind of goofy. And even the audience didn't really like the show. And so that kind of got me, because I saw the Tomb Raider teaser and I thought it looked fine. I've never been a big Tomb Raider fan, but it looked fine to me. And that hasn't come out yet. So basically, all I can say is out of all of the things on here that she's worked on, only one thing I can find scores for, and the scores for that are not good. And so it's difficult to try to talk about, because You're like, I'm excited for this. I'm excited for this Naruto movie, but it might not be good. I don't want to just go and make assumptions because, like I've said, there's been multiple things that she's worked on, and only one of them has a thing. She has 3 projects in post production. So she did Witcher Blood Origin, great, and then she's a writer on these 3 things, and they're all in post production. And then she's a producer on this, but one's in pre-production, one is in post-production, and then Naruto's in pre-production. So the only thing we can really go off of outside of her own work is that people really like working with her. Obviously, Netflix keeps bringing her back to do things. She keeps getting work, and now Lionsgate has picked her up to do Naruto. So the only thing I can go off of is maybe the studios think that she's a good writer, but Sony thought that the writers for Morbius were good writers. So I don't know what to do with that information. But I got to be completely blunt and honest. She looks and sounds like the nicest person. But this does kill my excitement. I mean, not fully, but it does limit my excitement for the Naruto film because I don't know. Now, if stuff comes out, if some of this stuff comes out and we see that, they're getting really high reviews, like a 7 out of 10 or something or higher, or like a 70% on Rotten Tomatoes or higher, hey, that starts changing things. But going off of the information that I have right now, I can't in any right mind be excited for this, especially with the track record that live action anime films have had before. I think that One Piece so far has been an anomaly. We'll see if Yu Yu Hakusho can join it and maybe start a pattern here. And maybe this Naruto movie will turn out to be great. But all I can go off of is how I'm feeling based off of the information I'm getting. And from everything I can see, outside of just her statements and her trying to, and everything that makes her sound really well, it looks like maybe not. Now, granted, Tomb Raider, I think, is actually supposed to be coming out pretty soon. I don't think we have a specific release date yet, but I know it's coming out in 2024. They already released a little teaser, so I assume it's going to be probably in the first half of 2024. We'll start hearing reviews and thoughts on that as well as Red Sonja. And then some of these other things might go into pre-production or into full production because they got halted because of the strikes going on. And then maybe we can start hearing more about that, see some of her other work, and maybe The Witcher was just a fluke. Maybe, I don't know. That's all I could say. It does scare me because, it's another one of the big 3. And after how good One Piece was, I thought we were going to be in a heyday, and it's looking like we might not be. But, things can change. Maybe the other work that she does is really good. Maybe there's creative differences and she has to step away and they hire a different writer or something. I don't know. Maybe something changes that can change my opinion about this movie. But currently, with the information that I have, I'm interested in the Naruto movie, but I can't say I'm really excited for it anymore because of this. And that pains me to say because she seems so nice, but I have to go based off of the stuff that she's done, and it doesn't sound the greatest. But anyways, guys, what do you think about this? What do you think about the writer? Did you secretly like The Witcher Blood Origins and you're like, no, this is going to be cinema. It's going to be the best movie ever? Or are you like me where you're hearing about some of these things and you're like, I want to be excited for this movie really bad, but they're kind of making it hard for me to do that right now? Let me know what you're thinking in the comments down below. All right, in our last main story today, it's actually been a very slow week, so this is the last story I have. Sorry. The news week has not been great. We have Magilumiere Co. Ltd., which is a terrible title, but it is getting a TV anime by Moe Animation, by Studio Moe. Or at least they're the main studio doing it. And then I guess we got a little teaser here as well. I hate the anime teasers. They did this with Oshinoko earlier where they were like a trailer, and then you watch it, it's just like an animated poster. But anyways, we're seeing some of this. And it looks okay, I guess. But if you guys don't know what this show is, like me, this is called Magical Girls Inc. Magical Girl, a profession that undertakes the work of exterminating a kind of natural disaster called Kana Sakuragi, a female college student who struggles with job hunting, is picked up by a magical girl startup company, and magical work life starts now. Okay, so I love that it's a very concise synopsis, but it's also like, I don't really know what this is about. This happens a lot with anime synopsi. I don't know what the plural of synopsis is, but you'll have anime synopsis either be 3 books worth, like it's longer than the entirety of Lord of the Rings, or it's like 2 sentences. And then in both cases, you're like, I don't know what this is about, because you get lost in the sauce in the long one, and then you just don't have enough information in the second one. I just want decent synopsis. Just tell me the plot. Okay. But anyways, I'm sure you're wondering, Israel, who is animating this? And so the person who's animating this, or not the person, the studio, one person is animating this. No, the studio who's making this is Studio Moe, and they've only worked on one other thing before this, and it came out this year, and it was a 5-minute short. Now, this isn't a bad thing because, studios have to start somewhere. So this is a brand new studio. Now, if you actually look into my anime list and see who's working on this, as you can see, okay, here we go. This is it. You have the studios here. They have JC Staff and Studio Moe. So while Studio Moe is the lead studio on this, they're getting help from JC Staff. Who's JC Staff? JC Staff is the studio behind things like Toradora, or the first 2 seasons of One Punch Man, or as you can see, what's it called? No. I know it's called How to Not Pick Up Girls, or is it wrong to try to pick up girls in the dungeon? But it has like a shorter name, I thought. Didn't it? Yeah, Don Machi. There we go. Then they've also done Food Wars. So they're obviously a very experienced studio. And so this is just a support team. I don't know if they're, because they're announced so early on in the process, I'm assuming this means that they're actually going to be involved in every single part of this and just kind of helping Moe, make a full anime for the first time. So that way they can, try to do things on their own after this. But I'm hoping it's not a situation like with, Zom 100, where you had Studio Shaft help the other studio there, and Studio Shaft ended up having to leave the project during the process. And I hope that that's not the case. I hope that JC Staff secretly is basically the one animating this, and that Moe is there just kind of watching and learning and writing down notes and then, doing some stuff here and there. But I because of how good JC Staff is, and Moe's completely new, I would really like them to kind of just lean on JC Staff. JC Staff has already agreed to do this with you, Moe. Just use them. Just lean on them. They're here to help, and they are great. They'll be nice to you. But that's really all I have to say about this. The only reason I talked about this is because the manga has not the biggest audience ever, but it does have a decent size audience. And so I did want to talk about this and let people know, because there's a chance that you might be reading this manga. But I don't care. I need to see like a, not just this trailer. I need to see like a real trailer, and things like that, to see kind of how this is going to pan out and how this is going to look, because this doesn't look, it's not that it doesn't look great, is that I know it doesn't look like anything. I don't know how it looks. Okay. That's what I mean. But anyways, guys, what are your thoughts on this? Are you excited for this? Do you know what this is? Yeah, I don't know what to say anymore. It's been a slow news week. Leave me alone. All right, and now we conclude this short episode of the Otaku Experience with, of course, the anime ranking. Starting with the Anime Corner rankings. At number 1, we have Ragna Crimson, who stayed in the same rank. We have Frieren Beyond Journey's End, who's also in the same rank at number 2. Ragna Crimson got 6.4% of the vote, and Frieren got 5.94% of the vote. Dr. Stone New World went up 4 spots from rank 7 to rank 3, and that got 4.85% of the vote. The Apothecary Diary stayed at the same rank at number 4, and that got 4.57% of the vote. Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2 went down 2 spots from rank 3 to rank 5, and that got 4.56% of the vote. The Eminence in Shadow Season 2 went down 1 spot from rank 5 to rank 6, and that got 3.97% of the vote. Spy X Family Season 2 went down 1 spot from rank 6 to rank 7, and that got 3.59% of the vote. And Undead Unluck went up 5 spots from rank 13 to rank 8, and that got 3.11% of the vote. Dark Gathering went up 1 spot from rank 10 to rank 9, and that got 2.84% of the vote. And the Vexations of a Shut-In Vampire Princess went up 7 spots from rank 17 to rank 10, and they got 2.72% of the vote. Goodness gracious. Going over to the anime trending charts, we have at number 1 the Apothecary Diaries, which went up one spot from number 2. At number 2, we have Free and Beyond Journey's End, which went down spot from number 1. The 100 Girlfriends Who Really, Really Love You went up 2 spots to number 3. Spy Family Season 2 went down 1 spot to number 4. The Emerson Shadow Season 2 went down 1 spot to number 5. Dr. Stone New World Part 2 is a re-entry into the top 10. Welcome back at number 6. Number 7 is Undead Unluck, which went down 1 spot. The Vexations of a Shut-In Vampire Princess went down 1 spot to number 8. Shangri-La Frontier is a re-entry into the top 10. Welcome back. And The Rising of Shield Hero Season 3 is at number 10 after going down 2 spots. And those are the audience rankings. And now we're going to move on into your comments or questions from last episode, which is like over 2 weeks ago or something like that. But you know, if you want to get your comment or question read on the next episode of the Otaku Experience, just hop into the comments down below. You can talk about the stories that we talked about. You can respond to me responding to you in your comments, or you can just write anything you want ever and just start a totally new conversation. I'll be like, that was kind of weird, but it's your right. You can do that. Anyways, here we go. So we have Paul in Long Beach, who says, again, Israel, I will repeat myself. When Rob started this channel, he wasn't getting thousands of views on the live streams. Build the brand and keep doing what you do. Cheers. Well, I appreciate it, Paul. That's super nice to say. I really, really appreciate that. And I know you've been watching the Burnettwork for a while. I hear Rob reading your super chats and things like that a lot. So thank you so much. Then we have Jamie, I hope I pronounced that right, Cardona, who says, hopefully something changes and the animators get better treatment. Yeah, for those of you guys who don't remember or didn't see that episode, this is referring to just the entire MAPPA controversy. And last week we talked about basically an entire timeline of things, and things have been just getting insane. And so I completely agree that the animators hopefully will get some better treatment. They really need to unionize, which is going to be really hard for them just based on the work culture that they're in. But it's something that has to be done if they ever want to see better outcomes. So hopefully we can start seeing something on that. Then we have Celtic Archie, who says, that was a really frustrating situation. The animators are not asking for much. If anything, they're just asking to make the animation better. Sheesh. I know, but the studios don't really care about logic or reason. What they want is they just want to make the product as cheap as possible, as fast as possible. And then whatever happens to the people beneath them, if they even view them as people, whatever happens to the animators beneath them and everyone involved in that process, that's not just a studio head or a director or anything like that, just gets tossed up in the wayside because they don't care. And that's just the problem. And it's just, I agree, it's just really frustrating because I think if you do give these animators more time and put more money into things, you're going to get a better product. And then I think what you want is going to happen. And I don't know why they're going about it in this really weird way. Then we have David Rose, who says, salute to your work, respect. Oh, well, thank you, David. I appreciate that. All right. Thank you. Seriously. I'm just awkward. It's not that I don't care. I'm just awkward. Okay. Delusional Patriots fan says, Jujutsu Kaisen 0 might be one of the best anime series movies in a long time. I love Jujutsu Kaisen 0. It's my favorite thing that the anime has done, like, out of everything. I think it's better than the first season. I think it's better than the second season so far. Jujutsu Kaisen 0 is the peak of the series, in my opinion. And just the fact that it was made in 4 months, number one, is a testament to the animators working on that, because that is insane. But also, it's just another thing that speaks volumes to the current work state, specifically over there at MAPPA, but you know, in the anime culture as a whole, that these things are just being rushed out. And then Attackin says, oh man, this is complete madness. It is. This whole situation has just been so crazy and so disappointing. I hope that MAPPA, you know, I just hope that something changes. David Rose is back and says, Japanese anime rules. Indeed it does. That's why we do a show about it every week. It's the best. Then we have, oh, sorry, hold on. There we go. Then we have our last comment from Ben Degoro, who says, it's not MAPPA. The whole Japanese business culture is like this. The leader's success is because his doing. The leader's success is because his own doing, while the subordinate's success is because of the boss. Well, yeah, but I mean, I feel like the way you say that, I feel like you're not listening to me, because in every single time that we talk about this, I always acknowledge that it's not just MAPPA, it's the entire anime industry as a whole, as well as just the toxic Japanese work culture. But the story that we're talking about is the MAPPA story. So I feel like just going, well, it's not just MAPPA. Like, I feel like that's like, then what are we even talking about here? You know what I mean? That statement, though, is true. The leader, the leader puts everything in its place. The leader gets to do whatever they want, and they don't care about the ones beneath them. So at least that's how I'm interpreting that quote. I don't know if I'm interpreting that correctly. But anyways, that's going to do it for this really short episode of the Otaku Experience. Just not that much came out this week. We mainly just got stuff about, we got some Oshinoko stuff, but it wasn't anything that was like super groundbreaking. The biggest things were the Dandadan confirmation, the Naruto writer, and then I guess Scott Pilgrim came out, but that was like a week ago, and I didn't watch it. I didn't really have an interest, so didn't really have anything to talk about. Hopefully we get some more stories on Sunday. But that being said, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the Otaku Experience. It's good to be back. Hope you had a good holiday, and I will see you all in the next episode.